So you want to grow your social media for your small business, but you're not sure where to start. You really like professional video, you like professional photo, but you know that you can't capture this yourself. It's like you feel stuck in a rut. You know what you need to get to the next level, but you just don't have access to it. How do you know if you're hiring someone that's actually going to get you more in front of the clientele that you like to be in front of, or just hiring someone that makes really pretty images? Well, if this is you, we're going to go over how you can know that difference and how you can make sure you're getting content that actually builds for your brand right here, right now. Welcome back to the channel where I help small businesses get seen on social media. So whether it be photo or video, if your goal is just to expand your brand overall and you don't want to pour so much money into ad revenue on Google or Facebook, this is really going to help once you understand this one thing. And that is, you need to be seen. And it should come no shock to you, but you need to be seen by your potential customer. A lot of times when we're on social media, we don't intend to, but we start making content for us rather than for the end user. The end user in your case is going to be your potential client. So if you're a small company and you want to be able to reach out to other businesses that might benefit from your product, you need to make sure that they understand what your product is to offer and how you can go about helping them. So number one, when you're creating content, when you're creating video, or if you're having someone shoot it for you, showcase the details, showcase the intricacies that go into the product that you have to offer. Or if it's a service, showcase how it's going to benefit them in no way, shape, or form that they had been benefited before from another type of service, maybe similar to yours, or they might not have just encountered any service like yours previously. Now you're probably asking yourself, well, how do I go about doing this? Subtly. Because if you do it overtly, you're going to come across very salesy. And when you come across very salesy, it makes people really hard to want to pay attention and inquire further. So what do? Well, let's say, for example, you are a local running club and you want more people to be interested in wanting to join your team. Maybe you capture video and photos of the team that you have, high-fiving, enjoying themselves, going through a workout, showing the grit, showing every detail of the process of what they're going to experience. Now, I know that sounds incredibly simple, but subtly, it will give the person the feeling of the experience before they actually experience it. And if you do this well enough, you're going to speak to the right person in the right way at the right time. Think about it. There's probably been many things that you've bought in the past that you've seen on TV or on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, whatever it might be, that you really didn't know much about before, but you felt like by watching that video that you understood that product a little bit better. And then lo and behold, maybe you went out and bought it. Maybe you saw it in the store and you became curious and you thought about buying it. Well, if you've ever experienced that, that's the same thing that's going to happen to someone who's potentially watching your content. Now, the key is not just to get that type of content where you're just showing high fives and smiles and things like that. The second most important thing is the frequency that you do this. I know this is going to sound pretty cliche, but the more people see your brand, the more likely they are to buy. So, quite simply, post more. I know it sounds, again, super cliche and super bland, but it's the truth. The more times that you're posting, the more chances you have to learn about your audience and what actually sticks. Maybe one of the videos where you showcase your team high-fiving doesn't do as well as you showcasing that deep breakdown of that workout. Or maybe if you own something like a roofing company and you showcase every detail of what goes into installing a roof, maybe that educates your potential homeowner that's thinking about buying a roof, but maybe something more so that showcases the people experiencing working with your company is going to make them more likely to inquire about working with you. But you'll never know until you start to post. That's the key. You have to get reps underneath your belt. That means you have to post often and even more often to figure out what people want to see. There's this really cool thing that you have in Google, TikTok, and Instagram that helps you see whether your content is working or not. It's called your analytics. Not trying to be sarcastic, but if you look at your analytics, you can see what times of day people are looking at your content. You can see how often they're viewing your content. You can see whether certain videos get more shares, more likes, more comments. All those things are great details to tell you whether your content is working or not. But if you're not showing up in the first place, you're not going to know what to produce. So the key thing is to get out there and start producing now. Now this brings me to my third point, and you're probably wondering, okay, I get it. I need to get out there now. I need to start posting more. I understand that I'm going to learn more about my audience as I do it more and more, but what gear do I start with? Well, to answer that question simply, you already have an iPhone. Now, if you've seen my previous videos, you'll probably know that I'm not the biggest fan of filming everything on your iPhone. This doesn't mean that it's a total waste of time for you to start there. The reason that I'm not such a big fan of filming on an iPhone is not that you shouldn't start there and not that it's a total waste of your time. The issue becomes is that businesses get hooked into what's the easiest and least cost effective rather than what showcases their brand in the best light. Quite honestly, when you watch a professionally curated video, professionally edited video, there's something that you feel deeper in that video that you probably can't express than when you watch just like your basic iPhone or Android video. There's a lot of deep factors that go into it. It could be the colors of the video. It could be the actual pixels that are showing up on the camera, so you're able to see what's called information. Basically, you see more depth in the image. And overall, it gives subconsciously to that viewer a subtle sense of trust because it looks as if you're putting more into the craft than someone else who isn't in your competition. And the reality is, most times they're right. You are putting more into the craft. Someone that hires a professional videographer or uses professional camera work tends to care a lot more about their product than someone who doesn't. Now, that's not an overall blanket that's everyone, but generally speaking, you could probably say that's kind of true. I'll leave you guys with this. When I grew my very first social media page, it didn't come from potent content. Let me repeat that. I grew my very first social media page not from potent content, but from frequent content. What do I mean? You could spend 10 hours editing the most perfect video aimed at your most perfect avatar of clientele, and it will totally flop. When you make frequent content, maybe short bits of content that look professionally edited, that look professionally filmed, and you just post them, whether they're small or slightly larger, and you just get in front of that audience, you're gonna notice the benefit far more over time. Why is that? It's because you're gonna fail when you start. Just plain and simple, you're gonna fail. Everybody does. And because you're gonna fail, you need to get used to failing quickly and used to failing a lot so that you can get good. Get those reps underneath your belt, post those videos even if they aren't the most perfect thing, and you'll become better over time. Some of my most favorite YouTubers of all time post videos where the edit might be just a tiny bit off, but then you'll still look at their subscriber account and they have over 60, 100, 250,000 followers, but they still post anyways. That's because they understand that concept. They need to get out there, they need to just trust in their work, and over time, things will get better. Now, if you want a full gear breakdown and you want to know what type of camera you should start getting into in order to figure out how you should film your first few videos, go ahead and click the link right here where I talk about in my next video the basic camera gear that you can get into and how you could start to really elevate your content in the long run. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.